Rabotai, welcome back. We would like to start a new series of halachot for Evean HaEzer. We want to start from Siman Aleph, Halacha Aleph. Now, as everyone knows that we did start a Da'ad Amoshal Halacha for Or Chaim, and the teaching of what Chazal tell us in Masechet Barachot, Elo leHakadosh Baruch Hu ba'olam ela arba amoshal halacha b'lvad. It touches me very much that all Hashem has in this world, ever since the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, all where He's able to rest is with the people that sit and learn halacha. So learning halacha is a very, very big deal. So in my humble opinion, I decided not to only learn with you the halacha. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do something. I learned the halacha, Baruch Hashem, with a few Talmidei Chachamim at night. We made specific time to learn Evean HaEzer only because throughout the day we don't have that time. We're learning other things. So we made extra time. We added more time to the day in order to be able to learn Evean HaEzer. And that's from 10:30 to 11:15. Sometimes it could even go to 11:30 depending on the context of what we are learning. So what I decided to do was that I have to do chazarah. It's very important to do chazarot. Review your learning. So I said I'm not going to just do chazarot and that's it. I'm going to do the chazarah, but this chazarah is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to do the chazarah where you guys are going to be able to join in my review. What do I mean? In any given Shulchan Aruch, usually you have to do the tour before you do the Shulchan Aruch. What we are doing in Orach Chaim is very different because the Mishnah Berurah breaks down the halacha by bringing you everyone else. But over here, when you're doing Arbiturim and Shulchan Aruch, it's more for Talmidei Chachamim, more for people that have to sit and break their head. It's not spurfet, put it to you like this. It requires work. So, before we do any halacha, just want to explain to you how this works. Before we will do any given halacha in the Shulchan Aruch, you have the tour. So the tour is right in the middle. Whoop. The tour is in the middle. The Beit Yosef is on the side. The Beit Chadash is to the side. The Darki Moshe is over here. Now, when you do the tour, you have to do the Beit Yosef. Now, this is only Halacha Aleph. Then you have to come over here. You have to do Halacha Aleph over here. Then you have to do the Beit Yosef. Halacha Aleph is still Beit Yosef. Only over here do you get to Halacha Bet. So it's a lot of work. Now, after you finish with the tour, you gotta now go to the Shulchan Aruch part, where Rabbi Yosef Karo, which is the Beit Yosef, brought it over here and made it in short as a review, just to trigger you. Once he says that halacha, you have to remember everything that you learned in the Beit Yosef. So this would be the Shulchan Aruch, right over here. This is going to be the Shulchan Aruch. But look, pay attention, the halacha and the Shulchan Aruch is just this, that's it. So he summarizes everything what he did in the Beit Yosef. Now, when you do this, if a person didn't really learn the Beit Yosef, you're not going to really understand this halacha. So therefore, you have to go ahead and you have to do the Beit Shmuel. The Beit Shmuel go ahead and he starts explaining. Then you have the Chelkak Mechokok, which is the Cham. You also have him, you have to do him. Then you also have the Pitchi Teshuvah. You have a lot of the poskim over here. So it's not your regular typical type of learning where I can safely say that this learning over here, if you want to have an idea of the halacha, you can listen in. But if somebody really wants to get a feel of what does it mean to learn Torah from the Shulchan Aruch, this is the way to go about it. But why am I telling you this? I'm not going to go through the tour, the Beit Yosef, the Darki Moshe, right, the Chelkim. I'm not going to go through all these rabbis. Why? It's only going to prolong the time. It's only going to make it harder for you. So I'm going to do my chazar, I'm going to do my review with you guys like this. I'll do the halacha, the Shulchan Aruch, and then I'll jump straight to the Be'er In the Shulchan Aruch, you have what's called the Be'er. What does the Be'er do? He explains very well in a concise manner what the Beis Shmuel had to say, what the Mechoket, not to be repetitive. He just brings down what's important, and that's called Be'er. He explains it very well. And after we have what's really important to do, is the Pitchi Teshuvah. Why is the Pitchi Teshuvah important to do? Because a lot of times he adds real life cases. So Rabotai, this is not your normal way of learning halachot, but anybody wants to join, be my guest, you will not hear in this shiur like you do here in the other Shur, Chacham Ovadia, Rabben Tzobah Shaul, Rav Yitzchak Yosef. Over here, this Rabotai is straight out for people that are Talmidei Chachamim, that want to grow, that want to learn. Again, you're not a Talmid Chacham, not a big deal. Become one. Okay. So we're going to start with the halachot of Pri'ah Urivi'ah, the halachot of Pru Urvu. In Shulchan Aruch, in Halacha Aleph, the Shulchan Aruch says, Chayav kol adam lisa isha. Every single person is obligated to marry a woman. Now, when you learn the Shulchan Aruch, you have to be very, very careful when he words something, because he just doesn't say anything like that. He says, Chayav kol adam lisa isha. Every single man is obligated to get married to a woman. Unfortunately, a lot of times you ask, or you have parents that don't push their children to get married. You ask, why aren't you married? You're 28, 20, 30, 40. Why aren't you married yet? Even sometimes your boys are 24, 26. Why aren't you married yet? They haven't found the right one. Are you really looking? Are you really pushing for it? You need to understand that there is a very, very big obligation on a guy to find himself a spouse. Some of them want to make money. Some of them want to have a career. Some of them want to have a good time. I don't know what they want to have. But we need to understand that it's an obligation from the Halacha and the Shulchan Aruch, which the Torah requires of you, is to get married. And we'll see, when a person is not married, how bad it is. So the Shulchan Aruch says, Chayav kol adam lisa isha. Every single person is obligated to marry a woman. What's the reason you have to marry a woman? Kedei lefarot ulerabot. In order to be able to be fruitful and multiply. Very important halakha in the Shulchan Aruch also. Remember, I'm telling you, that's what I tried to tell before, it's not your regular, when you learn Shulchan Aruch, you have to be able to dissect the words as we go along. When he says you're obligated to get married to a woman, and he gives you the reason why. He doesn't say to go have a good time with her. He doesn't say to build a... No. He says in order to bring children into the world. That's why you're getting married. A lot of times a person has this ideology that he's getting married and he's going to get married. The first 5 years he's not going to have children. He's going to be on birth control and so on and so forth. Or she wants to finish her career. If you're getting married, you're getting married for one purpose and one purpose only. And that is to inhabit the world. That is to bring children into the world. So when you have a person that you see them married 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, it's one thing, chas v'shalom lo aleinu, if they cannot have children. But it's another thing when they're not wanting to have children. It is a very, very big mistake. Always, always consult with your local rabbis before you do anything. It's very, very important. Look what he says. V'chol mi she'ein osek b'piriya urviya. Anybody who's not constantly involved in having children, ki'ilu shofech damim. It's as if he's murdering people. We think Hitler was bad. We think what he did, Chas v'Shalom lo aleinu Rabotai, on October 7th is bad. But a boy that purposely refrains, that's not constantly dealing in shidduchim, or even if you have a person that's married but he's not constantly being with his wife, when we'll see when it's prescribed according to the Torah, when he has to be with her at certain times, we'll see. If he's not doing that, he's also murdering, Rabotai. You're killing, you're not bringing children down, that means you're killing children, chas v'shalom. So it is not a small thing. When a person gets married, they shouldn't push off having children. On the contrary, they should have children, and because of the children, their mazal is going to be better. So he says, "V'chol mi she'ein osek b'pirya v'urviya ki ilu shofech damim u'mema'et et ademut v'gorem l'shechina she'istalek misrael." And he also causes, he diminishes the image of the Shekhinah of Hashem, and he also causes the Shekhinah to leave the Jewish people. So when you have a boy that's sitting and learning Torah all day, or I don't know, let's say not all day, let's just, it doesn't matter. If you have a boy that's sitting and learning Torah and he's davening and he's a good boy, and you ask him, why you're 21, 23, 24, 25, why aren't you married yet? If he tells me, Rabbi, look, I'm going on shidduchim, it's not working out here, it's not working out here, I could understand. Even there's a problem. Why are you being picky? But if he's not trying at all, You're learning Torah for what reason? To make Hashem happy, correct? That's the reason why we learn Torah, because we bring Hashem nachat. Ose nachat ruach liyotre. Kol mi shosek b'Torah, ose nachat ruach liyotro. Anybody who sits and learns Torah, he brings Hashem satisfaction. That's what you want to do, correct? So the Torah that you're learning tells you to get married. So why aren't you married yet? So it's very, very important, Rabotai, that we know these things. Because you want to go and try to learn the Torah, but not fulfill the Torah. It's a problem. That's why he says, the one who does not do so, he says he causes the Shekhinah to leave the Jewish people, and he diminishes the demut, the image of Hashem, because every single Jew is made in the image of Hashem. It's a very big problem. This was the Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah says, V'chol mi she'en lo isha, anybody who does not have a wife, sharui belo bracha belo Torah chulu, etc. He says he's without any blessings, he's without any Torah. Rabotai, so this he brings down from the Torah. If you want to see the language of the Torah, in Halacha Aleph, he says, Rabbi Elazar said, Kol b'she'en lo isha eno adam. We'll see that the Ramah is also going to bring this down. Anybody who does not have a wife is not called a person, because she makes you complete. V'kivan shenasa isha avonotav mipakpakim. We'll see that also. And since he married a woman, his sins get clogged up. We'll see what this means. But listen what he says. V'chol mi shesharui belo isha. Anybody who's without a woman, sharui belo tova. He's without any goodness. Belo bracha, without any blessings. Below dira, he does not have a residency. Below Torah, he has no Torah. Below chama, he has no wall. Below shalom, he has no peace. Rabotai, a person who's not married has nothing. Put it to you like this in simple terms. A person who's not married has nothing. He might seem happy. He might be learning Torah. I'm not telling you not to learn. I'm not telling you not to work. But you have to understand that this is what the Halacha says, and we have to go ahead and understand what the Halacha means. Halacha says a person who's not married, he's not complete. If he's not complete, there's no blessing in his life. There's no Torah in his life. There's nothing. If I can explain it to you like this. If we take this cup right over here, and we're going to break it in half, no matter how much tea I'm going to pour into this cup, the water is not going to stay. Why is it not going to stay? Because the other half is missing. But what happens if I bring the other half and I connect it back to the cup, and I glue it and I seal it and make it nice the way it is now? Put Torah, put bracha, put shalom, put everything, is going to be there. And that's when a person feels complete, because he's full inside. But as long as the person doesn't have that second half, he'll never be full inside. So that's why the Ramah says it back into the Shulchan Aruch. Anybody who does not have a wife, he has no blessing, he has no Torah. Like we saw in the Torah, he's not even called a person. Since a person went ahead and he married a woman, his sins are clogged. I'll explain to you what I mean. If a person found a woman, he found good, etc. Now, what does it mean, Rabotai, what does it mean that avonotav mipakpikim? We know that if you ever see, how do you know if a person is a Talmud Chacham or not? Again, Rabotai, let's try to understand something. I don't want to keep on repeating the same thing. I am not Chas v'Shalom speaking down on any Talmud Chacham and any rabbi, no. It's just you for yourselves have to know who are you listening to. Just because I might have a beard and a kippah and peyot and a black suit and a white shirt and a long jacket 3/4 down, doesn't mean I know the Torah. I might look like I know the Torah, but doesn't mean I know the Torah. That is very important, who you're listening to. Don't be fooled by the appearance. I can show you people that wear jeans and they know the Torah called backwards and forwards. It's very, Rabotai, don't be fooled by the appearance. So again, I'm not Chas v'Shalom speaking down on anyone. It's just I want people to educate themselves. What do I mean? Over here you go to Sheva Brachot. The rabbi gets up and he says, Amonotav Muchalim, that a person who gets married, you probably heard this many times, his sins get erased. Or they get forgiven. The Torah says, not so. The Ramah brings it down like the Tur. Not so. That his sins are forgiven, his sins are not forgiven. It says that avonotav mipakpikim. What does it mean avonotav mipakpikim? That's why I picked up the cup before. Because it means that if this is the barrel of a person's sins, Hashem goes ahead and he puts a cover over it, mipak, he closes it, and he throws it away as if it never was. But it's not forgiven. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu waits to see how is a person going to behave after the wedding day. Are they going to continue going back in the original ways or not? If they continue go back in the original ways, so Hashem says, good, I didn't forgive you. Because if I had forgiven you, I wouldn't be able to bring it back. But now that I only closed it, Hashem goes back and he takes the bottle which he closed, he opens it, and now he takes this and he starts pouring it on your new slate with your rebbetzin, with your wife. That's why we have to understand a very important halacha. That when a person goes ahead and he makes a wedding, educate the rabbanim that make your chupot, that it is asur 1,000,000% rabotai, to have mixed eating nowadays. To have mixed dancing is not even a question. Now, I'm not gonna, this is not the class for it. You just have to ask the rabbi. Tell the rabbi to look into Siman. It's in English, it's gonna be 529 in Halacha Dal. Just tell the rabbi. Tell the rabbi, can you tell me what the Halacha says in Shulchan Aruch? I'll tell you how to say it. Tell him in Shulchan Aruch, Orach Chaim, Siman, Taf, Kuf, Chaf, Tet. Halacha Dalet. Tell him just like that. Tell him those words. Now, Rabotai, understand one thing. If he tells you, what's that? So how's he doing your Kiddushin? How's he marrying you off? He doesn't know the basics? Not a joke. I've seen it a lot of times. I've seen people that learn Yalkut Yosef, which is very nice, but they have no idea what the Rav Yitzchak Yosef Shtai is saying because they don't have a good background. They only know what's Mutar Asur, but they really don't have that base. They don't know that foundation, because you have to really do the tour. You have to do the what we call Nosei Kelim. You have to do all the rabbis in order to understand one halacha. That's why halacha is not like people think Mutar Asur. That's all I have to know. That's not learning Torah. That's reading newspaper. Learning Torah means to write down. You're sitting, you're Isaac, you're learning, understanding, and so on and so forth. So therefore, it's very critical when a young couple gets married. I will very, very much strongly suggest this for the woman. Because some reason today the men, I don't know, they're always breaking down. But women have a lot of power. I realize many times that even religious girls, that they get married to boys that are not 100% religious, but if they want a fully separate wedding, that's what it's going to be. If she wants it done, it's like unbelievable. So, my message is more to them. Tell the rabbi to look up this halacha, let him read it for you, because it's not allowed. Why am I telling you this? Needless to say about the mixed dancing, there's nothing more to talk about. And why am I telling you this? Because when you get married under that chuppah, the rabbis get up, or the tamada, whatever, the people that speak, the Shekhinah is here. Make no mistake, the Shekhinah will never attend a wedding or any event for that fact if there are sins, if there are sins that are being done on the premises. So you might have had a kosher chuppah, but if right after the kosher chuppah you're going to go and start dancing mixed, or you're going to start having women sitting on the same table with men when they're immodest and the men are going to look at them, that is a very, very big problem. That's why we want everything to be separate. Because we don't want men to start looking at other women. It's a very big problem, Rabotai. So now you just start your mazal, you start your night, you start your foundation, basically, because this is the building block. Your wedding night is the building block for the building that's going to stand from now till the end of the day with your husband. And what are you doing? You're starting it with quicksand. Instead of cementing it with a good block, you're starting with quicksand because you're starting off the wrong way. So comes Hashem says, you did the chuppah, I just clogged up your sins. Now you're going back to your original sins. That's how you opposite. That's why a person has to be chacham. Don't, Rabotai, if you ever go to a wedding, I don't know why you're there to begin with, but if you're ever found in a wedding where there's mixed parties, mixed seating, don't waste your time getting barachot from the chatan and kala. Because the Shekhinah is not there. The Halacha says in Shulchan Aruch, if we get to it, that you can't even bless the bracha of Shesimcha b'mo'ono. That Hashem has simcha because Hashem is not there. He's not there. So what is it for? Show? In any event, this was the Shulchan Aruch with the Ramah. Now we're going to continue into the Ber Heitav. Like I told you before, the Ber Heitav summarizes what the Beis Shmuel and the Chelkat Mechokot had to say. So basically, the Ber Heitav just saved you at least a good hour. If you're not so learned, he saved you another 3 hours. Okay. The Ber Heitav says, "V'chayav lebol b'chol ona, afilu shehirshat et ba'ala she'imana onata." The Ber Heitav says, he brings it down by the name of the Rambam in Perek Tetvav, Halacha Aleph. A husband is obligated to be intimate with his wife every single period, even if the wife forgives her honor. He's not allowed to listen to her, and he has to be with her every single period until he's going to have children. Now, what does it mean, children? We'll see there's a machloket between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel. Is it a boy and a girl? Is it 2 boys and a girl? We'll see, Rabotai, there is a machloket between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel. What does it mean to be fruitful and multiply? Let's wait for that when the halacha comes. Everything we're going to have to go step by step. But right now we see from the Rambam that a guy has an obligation to have relations with his wife, to be intimate with her, with his wife, even if she tells him, it's okay, baby, I forgive you, you're tired, not feeling well. Yes, if the ona came, the husband is obligated to be with her until he's able to make children. We'll see after he has children, then her forgiveness can go ahead and help. Now, you guys are asking yourself probably, what is an ona? Ona is a period where we have an obligation, a husband has an obligation to make his wife happy. It's not only the need the night, it's something else. Let me show you over here. Let me see. Okay. Very important, just had to highlight that, not to forget it. If we look into the Shulchan Aruch in Orach Chaim, in the Mishnah Berurah edition, of course, the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Reish Mem, that's Siman 240, the Shulchan Aruch wants to explain to us what is an ona. What is that period that is placed on the husband to go ahead and be with his wife, and if they still don't have children, she's not allowed to forgo her honor. She cannot say, babe, I forgive you today, you're tired, I love you, I feel bad for you. No, there's no such a thing. If the Torah requires of the man to make his wife happy by being intimate with her, he has an obligation to be intimate with her until they have children. That's the reason why you got married. But we want to try to go ahead today and identify what does it mean ona, what does it mean the period. Okay. Halacha Aleph in the Shulchan Aruch. Im haya nasui, if a person was married, lo yeragil biyoter im ishto, he shouldn't be overly accustomed to being with his wife. Again, being intimate, having relations with his wife. Ela be'ona ha'amura b'Torah. Rather, he has to go ahead and he has to follow the period which is stated in the Torah. Zaka Baruch, which is stated. And what's that? How do you know, Rabotai? We know what period. You with your wife, you want, whatever. Yeah, what does it mean? What, I have to get permission to be with my wife now? There's periods in the Torah that I have to be with my wife now? Correct. 100%. Yeah, this is halacha. So, Rabotai, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Believe me, I can't go through the whole thing. Because over here, it says over here, about 17 halachot. I'm not going to even touch a drop in the ocean. I just want to show you what's an ona so I can get back into the Evean HaEzer. So we can have a better understanding over here. He says like this. Hatayalim sheparnasatam mutzi'a lahem ve'en por'im mas. You have tayalim. We'll see what are called people tayalim. Tayalim, people that are always traveling. We'll see what that means. I'll give you what the Mishnah Berurah says. Not traveling like traveling. I'm talking about tayalim like, we'll see. Let me just define what the Mishnah Berurah says. He says that Parnas is always found. Parnas comes easy to them. And then they don't pay taxes. Onatan bechol yom. These type of people, they must be with their wife. So we know that every single woman has about a 2-week period when she's able to be with her wife. I'm sorry. Every single woman has a 2-week period that she's able to be with her husband. And then after that, she becomes an Eden. She has 7 clean days and so on and so forth, which is about 10 days. So in those 2-week periods of time when she is clean, the Shulchan Aruch is saying if he's a Tayal and his Parnasa is very easily accessible and he doesn't pay tax, the Ona, the period in making his wife happy is every single night. That's another question. What time of the night? When the night? Again, Rabbota, I can't just go. As much as I want to do it, I can't. The lecture is gonna go way beyond the time. So that means if a husband, according to what the Rambam is saying, let's say this boy, let's say Reuven married Sarah. Reuven is married to Sarah. Baruch Hashem, Bilyan Hara. Reuven has money. He says home, money comes. He's a very big investor, whatever it might be. According to the Shulchan Aruch says, if one day Reuven comes home and he had a bad day at work or at yeshiva or he didn't, whatever it was, and he says, Sarah, I'm going to sleep. Please understand that I can't make you happy today. She says, yeah, it's okay, go to sleep. Asur, she's not allowed, even if she says, I forgive you, he has to get up, he has to make his head go away, he has to make himself like a lion, and he has to make his wife happy. That's what the Halacha says. And how many times in the week from the 2-week period he has to be with her? All 14 days. Every single night, he has to make his wife happy. He has that obligation on him. He cannot go ahead and take that away from her. You have to understand why. I forgot. There's a sefer. If I am not mistaken, if I'm not making a mistake, I believe it was the Chazon Ish. It was one of the Gedol. I think it was more the Chazon Ish. I think so. He says that when a wife needs to be with her husband, and the husband, whatever the reason, headache, he's upset with her, I don't know, whatever the situation might be, and he turns her down, he says you don't have a more cruel person than him. He is very, very cruel. This type of guy is crueler than ever. I don't know. He's an animal. Why? Because who else can go ahead and give your wife what you're able to give her? Nobody. So that's why, Rabotai, when we speak about making your wife happy, it's very, very important. And give you one small advice. You know, you hear all the Shalom Bayit, the class Shalom Bayit. Rabotai, take the Shalom Bayit classes and put it aside. So learn halachot for a second. Not that the Shalom Bayit are not important. They're very important. But do you know why we have Shalom Bayit problems? It's not because this and not because that. Like one rabbi said a beautiful thing. Everything begins in the bedroom. If in the bedroom the wife is happy, everything's going to be fine. If in the bedroom the wife is not happy, nothing's going to be good. She's not happy, nobody's happy. She's happy, everybody's happy. Everything. Oh, my mother-in-law said this. Your father-in-law said this. You didn't do this. You said, no, Rabbatai. Go to the root of the problem. It starts from the bedroom. That's it. The bedroom. Did you get? Maybe you're not happy, and so on and so forth. Believe me, if a woman is happy there, the rabbi says she'll be happy everywhere else. In any event, okay. Rabbatai, I hope the underage are not listening to the shiur, but Torah is Torah. Now, so this is the Tayal. So let's define who are called, what's considered to be a Tayal. I can't get that right name for the English, but let's see what the Mishnah Berurah says. The Mishnah Berurah says where the Tayal is Sivkat and Dalet, Bnei Adam, Habiri'im v'Hameunagim. We speak about healthy people and people that are very, they take care of themselves. Their Meunagim means like they're very taken care of. Healthy people they take pleasure. You know, they enjoy life. They're very well to do. He says, "Va'afilu b'nei Torah." Even if they're b'nei Torah, they're people that sit on Torah. Kol zman she'enenu Talmud Chacham, but if he's not a real Talmud Chacham, he could be a bet Torah. He can learn Torah an hour or 2 hours. But if he's not a real Talmud Chacham, where he knows the Torah code and so on and so forth, he has to go ahead and he has to make his wife happy every single night. That's what the halacha says. But he continues over here and so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into it. Just let me show you another case. However, he says, what happens if you have po'alim? What happens if you have workers? She'osim malacha bi'ir acheret. That they do their work in another city. Velanin b'chol layla b'betehem. But they come home every single night. So they go out of their city. Let's say they'll travel to Manhattan or Pennsylvania. They go out of their city. But they sleep in their house every single night. How many times are they allowed to be with their wives? Pam achat b'shavua. Once a week. Rabotai, once a week. Look how drastically we went from every day to once a week. So that means in the 2-week period, he's only going to be with her 2 times. Why is that so, Rabotai? Because they're tired. So on and so forth. So the Torah is worried for their health. Now again, Rabotai, I want to make something clear. All this is from the end of the husband. When I'm telling you right now, every single day, if he's a tayal, right, if he's very healthy and he's very taken care of, he's well-to-do off, that's every single day, versus the one who goes and works outside of the city, that's once a week, that's from his end. What do I mean? That he has an obligation, according to the ta'al every single day, the po'el in another city once a week. Because let's say he's tired all 6 days. And then he says, also today I don't want to do. Absolutely not. And once a week, she has to be able to make her happy. Now, continues the Shulchan Aruch, and the Shulchan Aruch says, what happens if they work in their city? 2 times a week. So even if a guy is tired throughout the week, we're not going to allow him to remove that obligation from him. He has to be with her 2 times a week no matter what. Again, this is from his end. Why am I saying it from his end constantly? Because the mitzvah is put on him to make her happy. But Rabotai, let's go backwards. What happens if the wife, she initiates, she gets dressed, lingerie, whatever it is, she comes on to you and she initiates the whole act. She wants to be with you. But you're a tzaddik, you know the halacha now, you know it's once a week or 2 times a week, I don't know, whatever your job is, because everything's based off a person's job. No. Over there, if she initiates, you're not allowed to turn her down because now she wants it. When it comes to your obligation, it's from your end, once a week, 2 times a week, or every day, depending on who you are. But when she wants it, it's a very different ballgame. If she initiates it, you're not allowed to turn her down. Rabotai, the Shulchan Aruch continues. What about donkey drivers once a week? What about camel drivers once every single 30 days? What about people that travel in the boat once every 6 months? Rabotai, the bottom line is, guys, a real Talmid Chacham, his obligation with his wife is from Shabbat to Shabbat. Okay. There he says, and every person has an obligation, even if he's a Talmid Chacham, what we said, once a week. But if the night of the mikvah came out, let's say on Wednesday, he has an obligation to go ahead and make her happy. And so on and so forth. Rabotai, there are beautiful halachot in the Shulchan Aruch. This is why I always constantly emphasize halacha, Rabotai. Get Rabbanim to teach you halachot. What do you have to sit there and listen? I'm not telling you stories are bad. I'm not telling you chumashim are bad. I'm not telling you. B'lein har, Rabotai. Which one you want? You want any? Look at this fire, Rabotai. Any book. Give me any book. Rabotai, there's so much Torah you can learn. Go ahead, learn it. But don't waste your time just listening. Because that will not get you anywhere. Learn it, Rabotai. Again, that inspiration that you have, it has to come into action. A lot of times we want to bring it into action, but we can't because we do not know what's required of us. That is and today you have B'lein Hara. You have Talmidei Chacham, Rabotai, you have. Look, I'm doing Dal Damosh Halacha from Rabbi Leor, the Hanshlita. Humongous Talmidei Chacham, Rabotai. You have Talmidei Chachamim. It's only a matter of who really wants it. I want to share with you guys a small story before we continue the Halacha. Back into HaEzer. I one time I was looking for certain books, right? And Baruch Hashem B'lein Har, my older son, he loves books and whatever. It was the whole thing that we wanted to get our hands on Rabbi Aharon Pessin's books. If you never heard him, try to listen to him one time. Go to 24/7. I believe it's 24/7 Torah. 1 second, let me just make sure. I believe it's 24/7 Torah. I just got about almost 30 books from him, sent to me from Israel. Spoke to me yesterday. When I called him initially, I was trying to get out. I thought I was speaking to the person that sells the books, but little did I know it was him. So he's like, I'm like, yes, I'm looking for the Rav's books. He's like speaking. I'm like, is this? Sorry. 1 second. He's like, is this? 1 second, guys. I do apologize. Okay. So I was speaking to Rabbi Aaron Pessin, and I said, "Is this Rabbi Aaron Pessin on the phone?" He's like, "Yes, correct." I said, "I was looking for your books, and I cannot get them anywhere over here because I always try to go ahead and look for it. So I cannot find your books." He said, "No problem. Which one you want? The English one, the Hebrew one?" I said, "Only the Hebrew, and give me everything." Just yesterday, I got the package, 3 packages, big packages, and it's unbelievable the Torah that he has. He's a student of Rav Chaim Kanievsky. So I'm looking at it right now. I just want to make sure I give you the right data. It's called Torah 24-7. Let me see something. Let's see. Yeah, so this is how it's going to look. I don't know if you guys can see from there. So this is how it's going to look when you go on Torah 24/7. Not 24/7 Torah. It's Torah 24/7. Rabotai, if you go on it, you go in English, you can put it in English, you have... It's unbelievable. Just listen to the rabbi one time. You will see what's a real Talmud Chacham. No story, Rabotai, real down to... Even with the stories, you're going to think it's you just listen to him. You'll be very, very surprised. His name is Rabbi Aharon Pessin. One of the riddles one time he gave was, he said, how can you have 2 people that they both daven and their prayers don't get answered? And they both daven with kavanah and so on and so forth. They both learn Torah and so on and so forth. Everything. So people try to give answers. So he said, it's very simple. He said the one that was davening and God answered was because he never spoke Lashon Hara. The other person that was davening with kavanah and everything didn't get answered because he was speaking Lashon Hara. So basically, it's this type of way, this type of derech that he goes out and he teaches very, very beautiful Torah. Try to listen to Rabbi Aaron Pessin. You will be surprised. You will see what means Talmidei Chachamim. By the way, he's in Hebrew, also as in English. That's why I am referring you to him. Why am I telling you this, Rabotai? Why did I bring up Rabbi Aaron Pessin? Because he said one time there was a student that he went to Rav Chaim Kanievsky, an 8-year-old boy. Rabbi Aaron Pessin was sitting next to the rabbi. An 8-year-old boy went to Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, and listen what the 8-year-old boy tells the rabbi. He says, Kvod Harav tells Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, can you please give me a bracha so I should become a giant in Torah? So Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky looks at him and he says, for what do you need my bracha? Rabotai, this is a real rabbi. Listen to this. Rav Chaim Kanievsky says, what do you need my bracha for? So everybody's shocked. What do you mean? What do you mean? The child's asking for a bracha. Give me the bracha. So Rav Chaim Kanievsky told him like this. If I give you a bracha now to become a big giant in Torah, and you never open up a book, what's the bracha going to help you? But if I don't give you the bracha, and you open up the book, you'll become a giant anyway. So what is my bracha really going to do for you? So Rabbi Aaron Pessin Shlita was sitting there, and he was telling Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, Kvod Harav, 8-year-old boy came. Please give him bracha. Let him walk away with something. Listen to these next words that Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky said it. Rabbi Aaron Pessin said it to me. I was with me and my wife, and Blianara, my kids in the back of the car. I was happy they were there when this whole thing was happening, because I was requesting brachot for my boys. So Rav Chaim Kanievsky told this little boy, the 8-year-old boy, he said 3 words. Im tirtzeh tihiyeh. If you want, you will be. Rav Aaron Pessin said, make sure you write it down. I did that. I wrote it down. Every morning you look at it. If you want, you will be. This was the blessing Rav Chaim Kanievsky gave to an 8-year-old boy. Rabotai, if a person wants to become a giant in Torah, if a person wants to become a giant in Avodat Hashem, if you want, you will be. The truth of the matter is, we don't want it so bad. We're happy. We're comfortable where we are. Because had you really wanted it, you would have been the next giant in the world, in Avodat Hashem, in Torah, in mitzvot, in Gimlu Chasidim, in anything. The question is, how badly do you want it? In any event, Rabotai, sorry I got off the tangent, had to share that with you, but let's get back into over here, because this is Torah. Look how beautiful from there to here. Okay, when you really start learning, you have books like this piling up like Har Sinai. Okay, Baruch Hashem, thank you Hashem. Now that we can understand what an Onah is, like we explained, whenever I say Onah, the period, you have to bring the Siman to 40, depending who you are, and so on and so forth. You have to apply it over here. That's how it works, Rabotai. This is what requires to become a Talmud Chacham. You gotta know there, you gotta know there, you gotta know that, you gotta know this, you gotta know this. That's the Talmud Chacham, Rabotai. Just like you are able to remember how much money you have in your bank account, you're able to remember all the sports, all the details, all the news, Trump, right? Yeah! Trump 24, yes, Rabotai. We're very, very happy that he won. It's very, very important, but still we have a lot to do. We have a long way to go, Rabotai. We need to learn much, much more Torah if we really want to bring Mashiach to the kingdom. B'Yemenu, Amen. Let's get back into the Ber Heitev. Let's get back into learning, Rabotai. One more time. V'chayav lebol bechol ona. The Ber Heitev says a person is obligated to have relations with his wife every single period. Now, when you're learning this Ber Heitev, what do you mean every single period? Depends who you are. Are you that type of person that money is coming easily to you? Every single day. Are you the type of person that's working outside of the city? Once a week. Inside the city? 2 times a week. Are you a camel driver? Once a week. Are you a donkey driver? 30 days. Oh, the other way around, sorry. Donkey driver once a week, camel driver 30 days. Are you the one who rides boats, right? What do you call the ship, the cruises? Every 6 months. Rabotai, this is why this Halacha series is nothing close. Everything is beautiful, but it requires much more. Okay. A person is obligated to be with his wife every single period. Afilu shehirsha'at et ba'ala shimana onata chayav libol b'chol ona ad sheyeh lo banim. Harambam perek tetvav halacha aleph. Even if his wife gave him permission that he can refrain from being with him, that he could refrain from being with her at the required period, at the required ona, chayav libol, the Rambam says you are obligated to go ahead and have relations with your wife until you guys are going to have children. Continues the Ber Heitev and says, V'chen Isa, the comment Siman Ein Vav, Siv Vav. Says later on, B'lineder, that's in Siman 76. We're right now in Siman Aleph, chapter 1. That's in chapter 76. He brings out the same halacha over there. The Shulchan Aruch also paskin, and he says a guy is obligated to be with his wife even if she forgives him, as long as they do not have children. Umashma, however, now comes the Beis Shmuel. These are the words of the Beis Shmuel, and he says, Umashma, and it's implied, Achar sheyeh lo banim, after they're going to have children, Mahani reshut shalah. Once you're going to have children, we'll see the machloket between Beisham and Hillel. Is it a boy and a girl? Is it 2 boys? We'll see all these machloket, Rabotai. But let's just stick with the halacha. Just allow the halacha to speak to you. Don't ask a lot of questions. Allow the halacha to speak to you, okay? Because as you go along, everything will get filled in. So he says, after they're going to have children, mehani reshut shalah. When her permission, her allowing you not to be with her at the required period, at the required ona, he says it helps. Afilu im yuchal od loholid. Even if your wife is still able to bring more children after you guys already brought children to the world, she's still able to be more productive. Still, the Beis Shmuel says he says that it's implied from the Rambam that if the husband is really not doing well, or he's tired, has a headache, and she forgives him, her forgiving is a forgiving. This is the way this is implied from the Rambam. It's brought down in the name of the Beit Shmuel. However, Rabotai, he says, V'tar chiyun. Again, also Beit Shmuel, Rabotai, he says it needs to be looked into further. Why? Minale laha Rambam chiluk ze. Where did the Rambam get this distinction? Michila shala achar hakiyum pru urvu. He says, I don't understand. He says, why is the Rambam making this distinction before and after having children? Why did the Rambam tell me that if they don't have children, he's obligated to fulfill his ona, and her mechila and her forgiving doesn't help. But once they have children, she can forgive him on the ona and he can go to sleep. Why? He says, I don't get it. He says, Daha afilim kiyeh pru urvu. Even if a guy already fulfilled the mitzvah of pruvu, being fruitful and multiply, mikol makom, listen to this language. Nevertheless, chayav lekayem, a person is obligated to fulfill le'erev al tenach yedcha. To the evening, do not leave your hands. Do not let go of it. What does it mean? This concept is brought down in Masechet Yevamot and Daf Samach Bet Amud Bet. That's on page 62, side 2. Over there it speaks about what does it mean le'erev al tenach yedcha. Remember the terminology? A man is obligated to have more kids even after he already fulfilled the mitzvah of having children. Rabotai, listen to this very carefully. If a person has a boy and a girl, let's go with the opinion of Beit Hillel. Now they say, that's it, we did the mitzvah, that's it. By the way, it's not so pashut. We'll see. But let's say he said he did the mitzvah, boy and girl, that's it. There is another mitzvah, not only by having children, but by continuing to have children. So comes the Beit Shmuel and he asks on the Rambam, he says, I don't understand. How do you, the Rambam, give permission to a woman to forgive her husband by not being with her when they're supposed to be with her because only they already had children? But what happened to having more children? There is a mitzvah on guys to have more children. As long as she's able to have children, you have an obligation to bring more children. So the bishop was saying, what happened to that halacha? Rabotai, he says, Einstein says, Tarch, he says, I don't, the Beit Shmuel leaves this as a Taruch Iyun. Taruch Iyun means it needs to be further developed into, delved into, it has to be understood because he doesn't get it. Okay, Reuven has children, he has a boy and a girl. So, who says he's allowed to use his wife's permission not to continue having children? Meaning, when the owner comes, she says, I forgive it, he goes to sleep. Why? Maybe it's that time she can become pregnant and she can have another child. There's still a mitzvah of le'erev al tenach yedcha. There's still a mitzvah on the husband which says that he still has to continue bringing more children even after he has children. That is the question from the Beit Shmuel. By the way, he says it needs to be looked into and he has no answer. It stays like that. Let's see the Pitchi Teshuvah. The Pitchi Teshuvah, very, very important. Rabotai, why? I put it to you like this. When you start learning halachot, I can reassure you one thing. You will get very, very bored quickly by listening to people that tell you stories or wrong information even when it comes to halachot. Because now you know, and you're sitting there like, why is it? It's not halakha, this is not halakha, this is not halakha. Rabotai, believe me, I've seen it. I've seen it many times. Throughout the lifetime, I see it. How Rabbanim speak, Talmidei Chachamim speak. Again, we're saying them because that's what the people place a name on them, whatever it is. Fine, no problem. But I've seen it in and out, especially when a rabbi tries to say a halakha outside. That is the last thing you want to do. How? I just want to understand for myself. How is it possible that the Shulchan Aruch had to bring he had to tell you Rishonim, the Gemara, the Beit Shmuel, they had so much, so many posts can go into all the. You just could come out and you could say bam, 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 just like that. But there needs to be understanding. If he really has it well, even then when he's saying it outside, he's able to explain it very well. But I've seen many times when a person reads even the English Yalkut yourselves, Sometimes I'm very amazed. I won't be surprised if they don't even know what they're reading, only because they don't have the knowledge what's behind that halacha. So that's what, Rabotai, you will get very, very much, you'll get very, very bored listening to other people when you start learning the right way. Whether it be halacha, whether it be Gemara, when you start tasting the emet, you stick to the emet. That's how it works. In any event, Rabotai, Pitchit Shua. The Pitchit Shua, Tzivkat Aleph says like this. I'm Berhetiv, he says, look into the Berhetiv, which we did. B'Shem Beit Shmuel, in the name of the Beit Shmuel, which we saw. Ma Shiksha, what the Beit Shmuel asked. The Ha'afilum Kiyem Pru Urvu, Chayav L'Kayem La'arev B'Chulu. He says, Rabotai, in short, because you read, this is what it means to learn Torah, because you already have to know it. So basically, the Pitchit Shua is saying, look into the Berhetiv, what did Beit Shmuel ask on the Rambam, that even if a person would have had and he fulfilled the mitzvah of Pru Urvu, right, you still have the problem of fulfilling the mitzvah of La'arev Adlech you still have to have more children. So who gave her permission to forgive him? So, and then he said, etc. He said, you have to go to all that. We did it. Ve'ayin b'sever B'rki Yosef Rabotai. Now the B'rki Yosef is going to go ahead and try to settle the issue. That's the chida. Meha Gaon hacham hachida zatzal. From the Gaon, the chacham chida. May his memory be blessed. Denichalein lechalek. He was very satisfied with making this difference. He wanted to show you how the Rambam was able to tell you that her Mechila helps. That her, when she forgives him, it's okay once they're ready for the mitzvah of Pru Urvu. How? Listen to what he says. The Im Kiyem Pru Urvu, Eino Chayav L'Bol B'Chol Ona. Once the husband fulfilled the mitzvah of Pru Urvu, he's not obligated to be with his wife every single Ona. Eile Mishum Le'erev Atnech Yadcha. Eile Mishum Le'erev Atnech Sagi. But when you're dealing with the concept of le'erev atach yadcha, that you should still continue bringing children to the world, it's enough to be with your wife at distant times, but do not abandon her completely. Whenever we're telling you here that the wife's mechila helps you, he says it helps you. Let's put it to you like this. Let me give you the case. Now that we saw Siman Reshmem, Siman 240, let's go with the guy that money is coming to him. He's well off. He's strong like a ox. Right? He's very well dressed. Whatever. We said his obligation every single day when she's clean. Let's take him. He has children. According to Ben Hillel, boy and a girl. He says, let's say he was with her on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday he feels tired. He can't. Friday he can't. Okay. Comes the Chidah, he says, that's what the Rambam means. If you can't do it, from here to here, no problem. Because you'll go back and do it again Friday. Or the other case, with the person who works outside of the city, that we said he has to be with his wife only once a week. So she'll tell him 1 week, I forgive you. Good, so the next week you'll be. But you're not ignoring her completely. We're not saying that when she's forgiving you completely, you're exempt from being with me. So therefore we have the problem of, why aren't you bringing children to the world? What do you mean, why am I not bringing the children to the world? I am. It's just I'm not having just one time. I'll be with her again next week. So that's what the Chidah is saying. It's not a problem what the Rambam is saying. When he says that she's forgiving him, she's not forgiving him forever. She's forgiving him for today. That's all. And tomorrow they'll be again together whenever the honor comes. That's he says, Rabotai, one more time. The Im Kiyem Pru Urvu Ein Chayav L'Bol B'Chol Ona. Even for the mitzvah of Pru Urvu, he's not obligated to be with his wife every single period. El Mishum Le'ero Atnach Yadcha. But if you're going to tell me because of the concept of to having more children even after you already had children, good. That's good. It's enough to at distant times, one from another. But as long as you do not let the mitzvah completely go, as long as you don't stop being with her. And this is what the Rambam and Maran the Shulchan Aruch said later on in Siman 76 and Halacha 6. This is how you have to read it. The im lo kiyem pru urvu, if a person did not fulfill the mitzvah of having children according to Beit Hillel, boy and a girl, chayav bechol ona. He's obligated at every single ona. That means even if he has a boy or even if he has a girl, but he doesn't have a pair, he doesn't have a boy and a girl, his wife's Mechila will not help. She cannot say, I forgive you, go to sleep. No, the owner came, they're obligated to be together, and the husband's not allowed to go to sleep. Aval im kiyam, what happens, they'll say according to Beit Hillel, if he fulfilled the mitzvah of pruruvu by having a boy and a girl, Einu chayav b'chol ona. No, he's not obligated every single ona. Lo mishum pruruvu, it's not because of pruruvu you have to be with her. Dikvar kiyam, because you already fulfilled the mitzvah. So that's why you don't have to be with her. V'lo mishum ona shikvar machla. But also it's not because of the period, because she already forgave you. So why are we telling you over here that he's not chayav to be with her every single ona? It's not because of pruruvu, and it's not because of the ona. Why? The mitzvah of pruruvu, you already did. The mitzvah of her ona, she forgave you. So it's not because of that. Rally says, aval en hachinam. However, he says, yes, it's true. The mishum ule'erev atanach mechuyav be'ed min ha'etim. Ein sham. However, he says, when it comes to having more children, after you already have children, you are obligated to be with your wife from time to time. As long as you do not leave the mitzvah complete, as long as you do not stop having children altogether. That's all. That's the way the Chidah wants to explain the Rambam. That when the Rambam said that the wife forgives him, she said only momentarily, for today, tomorrow, whatever the owner is. But they're going to go back into action after a certain time when the next period comes. But he's not leaving it completely, Rabotai. So that's why the Chidah actually does go ahead and he resolves the issue with the Beit Shmuel. Okay. Rabotai, I did miss a Berhetiv, the Ra'anach in the Berhetiv in the same Sikhat Aleph. I should have read it, I missed it. Ra'anach in the Chalak Bet Siman Mem Gimel, Nistapek. The Ra'anach altogether had a doubt. Why? He says he wants to know if her mere speech helps. If a woman says, I forgive you, let's say where the husband already did the mitzvah of pruruvu, and let's say he's not abandoning it completely. But like we saw in the Chidah, from time to time, she's able to forgive him because he's tired. So he says, he has a doubt. He wants to know if her mere words help. And if you want to tell me it helps, now he wants to understand, but can she retract from it or not? Let's say the guy, right, has the owner once a week he has to make his wife happy. And this couple already have a boy and a girl. And you know that next week they'll be together. They're not abandoning it completely. But, he comes home on Sunday, he says, I'm tired, I drank a lot, whatever it is, Nebuch, right? Okay. She says, babe, I feel you. Go to sleep. I forgive you today. Go. It's okay. You don't have to make me happy. So, problem number one, the Ra'anach says, he doubts if such a dibur can even help her. If it doesn't help, then everything we've been learning, then he always has to make his wife happy. There's never a time that he's free, even after they have pruruvu. If you're going to tell me it doesn't help. But if you're going to tell me it does help, the Ra'anach has another problem. What happens now, she says, something? Why do I have to forgive him? Why? I have to wait another week for him? And then, whatever. No, I want it now. Now he wants to know if you're going to say that it helps, can she retract the words? Or maybe it's like she made a vow. It's like she swore, she said, that's it, I'm fine with it. Can she really retract? So the Ra'anach, he had a doubt in all these two questions. The Pinchei Teshuvah says you should look into a certain sefer where I can't even pronounce the sefer because I don't even know where to say. He says, I bring it down at the land. The Pinchei Teshuvah says, he says, look over there. He doesn't even give us the answer over here. He says, look into over there in that sefer. At the land, he goes on to explain this Ra'anach's question to try to go ahead and resolve it. In any event, Rabotai, we just want to conclude today with a small review. We show according to the Shulchan Aruch in Evean HaEzer and Siman Aleph and Halacha Aleph, every single boy is obligated to get married in order to be able to have children. And if one who's not constantly involved in the mitzvah of bringing children to the world, it's as if he spills blood, diminishes the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he removes HaKadosh Baruch Hu from the Jewish people. Came the Ramah said that a person without a wife, he has no blessing, no Torah, no Simcha, nothing. We did see that if a person, when he does get married, his sins get clogged. They don't get forgiven, they get clogged, to see how he's going to continue behaving after he gets married. And we also did see that when a person gets married, he's called Adam. He's called a person because now she made him complete. We saw in the Ber Heitev, very important concept, that when a person gets married and he has an Onah, which we brought down from Siman, Reish Mem, and that's 240 in Orach Chaim. When a person gets married, he has an Onah that he has to fulfill. He has to be with his wife as that Onah. Does her forgiveness help us? Does it help the husband? If they don't have children, it doesn't help, and he's obligated to be with her. If they already fulfilled the mitzvah of Pru Urvu, let's say go to Beit Hill, because that's the halachas like him, they had a boy and a girl, then the Rambam says that her forgiveness will help. However, we had another problem. The Beit Shmuel says, I don't understand. How can you tell me that it helps where you have another mitzvah, which means you still have to go ahead and continuously make more children even after you fulfill the mitzvah of Pru Urvu. So we saw the Chida answering. The Chida said very simple. The Rambam never said that you're going to abandon the mitzvah of having children altogether, completely. All he said was that at times her mechila, her forgiving the husband can help because next week they'll be together. And last but not least, we had a doubt in the Ra'anach if her mere words, when she says, I forgive you, if it helps. If it doesn't help, so then even if you have more children, even if you have fulfilled the mitzvah of Pru Urvu, you can never miss the period. You always have to always be with her at that honor, and her mechila never helps because it doesn't help. If that's the way we want to learn it. But if we're going to say her words help, then he has another problem. If it helps, can she retract her words? Rabotai was sure the Pitkat Teshuvah. He said at length, look into another sefer, says at length he goes on to explain this Ra'anach. In any event, Rabotai, today we completed the whole Halacha for Siman Aleph in Halacha Aleph. B'lineder tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem in Halacha Bet. B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to continue if you're allowed to sell a Sefer Torah to get married and so on and so forth. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy the Torah. Learn the Torah. Spread the Torah. Be with the Torah. You know one thing I tell you, that one time Rabbi Mizrahi said, a long time ago I heard him say it. He said it on the Kol Yaakov brothers from Torah anytime. I'm going to say that same concept on Avraham Biyachad. I'll tell you what he said on the Kol Yaakov brothers. With all the Torah that they spread out, all the rabbis that are teaching, they're doing Yagdil Torah V'Yadir. They're giving zechut to the many. When you give zechut to the many, all their zechuyot, all their merit that they're going to do from now on, depend on the person that sent it. Yes, also the rabbis that are teaching the Torah, that are giving them this world, the next world, but they're really sending it out. Same thing over here when Avraham Kakuriv sends, he posts videos, he uploads, he takes his time. Rabotai, the Olam Haba that he's going to get will be bigger than the Rabbanim that are actually teaching the Torah, because he's spreading Torah to the masses. Why am I saying this? It's very, very important whenever you listen to anything, especially when it comes to halachot. It doesn't have to be my shur, Rabotai. I'm just trying to tell you, whenever it comes to halachot, share that knowledge, pass that knowledge, so other people can learn halachot. Not only good inspiration, not only musar, halachot, Rabotai, because when they change and they start doing what's right, Rabotai, the dividends, everything's going to be dependent on you. It's all because of your zechut. Have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Amen.